from now onwards every Saturday I will take the current affairs, the most important current affairs. From Sunday to today's newspaper, nothing, most important news is nothing is there today. So, some issues were been there which can be helpful for prelims and mains. The first topic which we are going to discuss in the September first week is Havana syndrome. Havana syndrome is a very typical type of disease. It does not have any symptoms like it is not because of our biology, it is not because of some pathogens, it is not because of any virus, it is not because of any bacteria, it is not because of any accident, but it is a abnormal case whereby the people will be listening some abnormal sounds. They will be doing their work or they will be sleeping, suddenly a sound will come, they get shocked, they get disturbed. Again, if they see rotate here and there, they do not know what is the source of sound, what is the source of noise. That type of a abnormal or paranormal case is reported in some of the US government employees. In US government employees as well as in embassies, in US embassy as well as Canada embassy, which is located in Havana, the capital city of Cuba. So, again it triggered whether there is any conflict which is again resurfacing. Why? Because in 1962 we have Cuban Missile Crisis, whereby the conflict was between the communist versus capitalists. The Cuba got support from the USSR, whereas USA was completely capitalist. So, there was a Cuban Missile Crisis whereby the USA was keeping the missiles towards the Cuba, Cuba was also getting the missiles from USSR. So, now such thing is there, or we can expect any doubt that in Cuba only the government officers are suffering with this syndrome, a sudden shock, a sudden noise which is exclusive, which is happening in Havana. So, this had created shock among the people. That particular symptoms of a sudden noise, a paranormal sound which is heard by some of the employees of the United States of America, that particular disease was been named as Havana syndrome. So, hence we cannot call it as a disease, but it is a syndrome, just a symptoms, a combination of symptoms is called as syndrome, that is Havana syndrome, number one. So, if we can expect in prelims, Havana syndrome is in the news, whether it is a disease, is not a disease, it is a symptom. Whether it is because of any pathogen, it is not because of pathogen, it is a feeling, it is a paranormal behavior. The first is Havana syndrome. The second we have is simultaneous elections, which is very much in the news, Gemelli elections, simultaneous elections. What is this simultaneous elections? There are under Article 83 and Article 85, Article 173 and Article 175. 83 with respect to parliament, with respect to duration of house, and with respect to 85 it is with respect to dissolution of, whereas 172 with respect to duration of legislative houses and 174 with respect to dissolution of houses. So, if we want to go with simultaneous elections, if we want to move on with simultaneous elections, we need to have a constitutional amendment of 83, 85, 172 and 174, as well as Article 356 also. Why? Because we have to go for presidential rule. What is simultaneous elections? We need to conduct the elections simultaneously in central government as well as in state government. It is called as simultaneous elections. So, prelims point of view, how many constitutional articles need to be amended for simultaneous elections? 83, 85, 83 with respect to what? Duration of Lok Sabha, 85 with respect to what? Dissolution of Lok Sabha, 172 with respect to duration of state legislature, 174 with respect to dissolution of state legislature, and Article 356 also. If we want to conduct, first we have to impose what? President's rule. So, Article 356. If these 5 articles are amended, then only we can go with simultaneous elections. 83, 85, 172, 174 and 356. What is simultaneous elections? At one point of time, elections will be conducted for the central government and state government. What are the pros and cons? Advantages. The main advantage is the respective governments can focus on development. Why? Because election is a very big exercise in the world. Indian election is a very big exercise in the world. So, the state governments or central government for 1 year they will be concentrating on elections. If it is Uttar Pradesh elections, 80 Lok Sabha members are there from Uttar Pradesh elections. If Uttar Pradesh elections are happening, means obviously we have to focus on like 50% of Lok Sabha. Hence, when different states, when the elections are happening and central government elections are happening, the focus on development is getting hampered. In order to stop it, there is a advocate for simultaneous elections. Why it is in the news? Narendra Modi had referred simultaneous elections for law commission to find the positives and negatives. If everything is okay, they want to make the constitutional amendment, and they are planning for April 2024 for simultaneous elections. What is the negative? Negative is one section of people are telling that it is against secularism. Sorry, it is against federalism. Why? Because it is against the aspirations of some of the state governments. All the BJP governments are accepting in the states, but not the non-BJP governments. Number two, we are not ready for the elections. Why? Because our elections completed last one year back. If you keep again, it's a burden for us. Why? Because again we don't know whether we will win or not. This is one concern which is coming from state governments. Whereas pro is what? The expenditure which is incurred on the election commission is very high when the elections are happening for central government as well as for state government. So election expenditure can be reduced. So it's mainly with respect to 83, 85, 172, 174 and so we have to wait what is the law commission is going to recommend, whether to go with simultaneous elections or not. The same thing is there. The most important, socio-economic caste census 2011. Sir, it is 2023, why it is relevant? For every elections, socio-economic caste census are relevant. So elections are very near. So what happened in socio-economic caste census of 2011? In socio-economic caste census of 2011, after independence, when we are doing census for every 10 years, we are calculating the populations, as well as we are calculating the populations of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. But before independence, we calculated the populations for caste groups. This caste, this much population, this caste, this much population, this caste, this much population. We used to have a calculation before independence. But after independence, this caste-based census came to an end. We did general population numbers, SC numbers, ST numbers only. No specifically caste calculations like carpenters, like nai, like dhobi, like blacksmith, goldsmith, Brahmins, Reddis, Kammas, Kapus, Chaudharis, Rajputs. So this calculation was not happened since independence. So for the first time in 2011, at that time 2011 it is the UPA government, they came up with caste based census after independence. So it is in the news. So caste based, how much population is there with respect to this caste, how much population is there with respect to this caste. So from 2011 they made the calculation, census report was given in the 2011 itself, but the caste based census was released in 2016, but central government in 2016 is BJP. It told that we will not reveal the caste based census to the outside, we will keep it with ourselves. If not, it will create the differences among the societies. So they didn't disclose caste based census, they didn't disclose this caste this much population, this caste this much population, they didn't disclose. Why? They told that, BJP government told that if we disclose, there will be unnecessarily differences will be formed in society. We are majority in this area, we are majority in this village, we are majority in this state, unnecessary disturbance will be occurred, so we are not going to release. But who is having it? BJP, central government is it with. So in 2019, all the caste based census was with central government and it used for its election purpose. Central government means BJP government only, no, it used for its purpose. Where that particular caste group is more, they gave ticket to that caste fellow. Where that caste group is majority number, they gave. If a probable candidate is there but his majority is not there, then they didn't give ticket. It was not known to Congress. It was not known to Bahujan Samajwadi Party. It was not known to another political party. So, this caste census document was being misused by BJP according to Congress. Now, again 2024 elections are coming, again they are digging out the caste based census, again they are redistributing the tickets. So, caste based census was used to identify the beneficiaries. It is a good idea. It will identify proper beneficiary, who should get the ration card, who should get the pension will be determined based upon socio-economic caste census, but it was been misused by the governments. Socio-economic caste census. Every census in independent India from 1951 to 2011 had published data on SCs and STs, but not on other castes. Before that, every census until 1931 had data on caste. 1941 also they had calculated data on caste, but they didn't disclose. And from 1951 they stopped. Again they discontinued in 2021. Because of COVID, it is getting delayed. Caste based data was collected but not published. Which year? Historical background. Socio-economic caste census 2011 was the first caste based census since independence. So, what is the arguments for and against caste based census? For better picture, we will get a better picture. Oh, this caste group, they are living below poverty line. This caste group, they are having cylinders. This caste groups, they are getting pension. So, we will get a better picture caste based. Caste based means decentralized. Oh, these people are more backward, these people are more advanced, these people want this, these people want this, these people doesn't want this, these people. So, we will get a proper picture with respect to their standards. So, it is good having caste based census. Reservations we can give. For example, in SC reservations, if we talk about the South India, in SC, two communities are very, very popular. Other communities are also there, but two communities are very popular, like Mala and Madiga community. The Madiga community will accuse Mala community that SC reservation is completely hijacked by Madiga community. Sorry, Mala community. Madiga community will accuse Mala community. Now, if I go for reservation caste based, then what we will do? We will go for sub-categorization. Within the SC, we can go for SCA, SCB, SCC, SCD, and I can keep SCA in Mala, SCB Madiga. So, I can fix SCB Madiga community 4% among 15%. So, at least they will be fixed that they will be getting how much reservation? 4% reservation. So, that numbers I can get through what census? Caste based census. So, we can go to the target beneficiaries, we can target them, we can give them reservation, so that that particular community will get benefit. That is the benefit of caste based census. Against discrimination, in our district we are majority, unnecessary discrimination. Why? Because officially we are giving numbers, officially we are telecasting the numbers, officially when we telecast the number there is a chance of groups will form. Discrimination will happen. That is a negative of caste based census. Political exploitation, they will give ticket to the person who is higher. Expensive, caste based census, just directly I will go and I will get the information, but again if I am dividing them, again I am calculating based upon the caste, means it is a more burden on the exchequer. These are the pros and these are the negatives of caste based census. But however, one thing is there, in India the caste system is deep rooted. If the caste based census is coming out, there is a higher chance of getting discrimination. So, better to avoid caste based census. Then why in British times they gave caste based census? Why? Because they want it. Because they want it, so that they can exploit the Indians on the name of caste. Now again we should not divide them, again we should not break them. So, better to not to give. So, we can come up with another socio-economic census, but not socio-economic caste census. We can write this in any question on the caste, any question on targeted beneficiaries, any question on how to find the target beneficiaries. We used to have socio-economic caste census, but this type of caste census will be dividing the society more rather than identifying the beneficiaries. So, we need to have an inclusive and sustainable form of census. Space debris, which is in the news after the Chandrayaan 3 and Aditya. And today's newspaper is telling that after Chandrayaan 3, after Aditya, we are planning for Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan we are planning with Bidani, one of the defense sector, public sector undertaking. Bidani and ISRO both are planning for Gaganyaan. Gaganyaan is nothing but sending a man onto the outer space. Space debris. What are space debris? The satellites will be placed in the orbits. The satellites will be placed in the orbits. In the process of wear and tear, some space debris like bolts, nuts will come out, fall down. It's a common thing because of wear and tear. So, as there is no gravity, it will be rotating on the orbits. As there is no gravity, they will be rotating in the orbits. So, there is a chance that another country satellite, or another rover or anything, if it is coming in between, if a small happens, then that particular satellite will be completely affected. So, that particular free flowing unnecessary particles on the space orbits is called as space debris. Why it is in the news? Recently, one French satellite got affected because of space debris, and Chinese space debris directly attacked one of the US satellite. So, now the war which is happening between China and or a cold war which is happening between the China and USA, now the war went up to space. They are fighting with what? Bolts and nuts. Space debris. ISRO's partially burnt rocket pieces falls over Australia's coast. That is the recent current affair. So, the rocket is going, when they go up, the particles will fall down. So, it should according to the plan, it should fall into the Bay of Bengal. But this Chandrayaan 3 is what happened, it fallen into the Australian coast. It's a foreign coast. So, it's something like aggravating them, hostility will increase. Why? Because your space items are falling on my soil. So, it is in the news. The Chandrayaan 3 the particles are fallen onto the Australian coast. So, again the space debris concept came onto the surface. Pieces of scientific machinery sent to space now on longer functional but orbiting in space. Those unfunctional, dysfunctional things are orbiting around the rocket launches machinery does not fall back to earth or anti-satellite missile tests. China is having 2300 debris created on daily basis. Some or the other, nuts, bolts, huge number of satellites are there. Thousands of satellites are there, some or the other things are coming out. So, more than 2300 debris are created periodically in the space. So, some or the other time it will come, yes, space is so much, but some or the other time there is a chance that they might touch the foreign satellite. More than 27,000 space debris in orbit right now, most too small to detect but large enough to cause, very small to detect, but have a damage of large spectrum. Hence, the space debris is a current concept. How to stop this? How to disappear? How to make them disappear? How to catch them? How to remove them? How to remove the space debris? French satellite got damaged. Russia's space debris destroys satellite launch of USA. China is also same. Russia is also same. Here there is a confusion. Intentionally they are doing or accidentally it is happening. There is a benefit of doubt. So, whether intentionally it is happening or accidentally happening. If that is the case, why China satellite only USA and Russia satellite to US? Why not other country? So, China is against USA and Russia is against USA. And the first is Russia. Every time it will go and touch the US satellite and will come back. So, it is creating, it is because of what? Space debris. Convention on International Liability for Damage Caused by Space Objects 1972, Outer Space Treaty 1967. These two treaties are controlling space debris. Prelims point of view important. What are the treaties which are controlling space debris? Number one, Convention on International Liability for Damage caused by space objects, and Outer Space Treaty. These are the two treaties which are responsible to control space debris. Amount government governed by principles of natural justice, liability convention, and damage caused by falling objects. There should be natural justice. According to the natural justice, the debris belongs to which country should be penalized. That is the solution or remedy for the space debris. Means that objects which are freely flowing in the orbits are negatively impacting the space objects. Hence, there is a concept of space debris. Why it is in the news? The Chandrayaan 3's debris fallen onto the coast of. Then what about the objects which are freely moving? When it reached the orbit, it will not have gravity, so it will rotate in the space. Compulsory we can expect a question on space. We are very proud of space of India. So, what is the chronological evolution of space in India? We will also write about space debris. Jaya Varma Sinha. Not all IAS officers or IPS officers are great. IRTS officers also great. IRTS, Indian Railway Traffic Service. Till 2021, IRTS was also part of civil service examination. But after 2021, IRTS was being combined into Indian Engineering Service. Why? Because it was been identified as technical service. Now, recently, what they did, they made it as Indian Railway Management Service, IRMS, Indian Railway Management Service. So, earlier what service was there? Indian Railway Traffic Service. A UPSC aspirant, Jaya Varma Sinha. You know, Railway Board is most powerful board in Indian Railways. If any person is powerful, after Prime Minister, after Minister of Railways in Railways Department, after Prime Minister, after Minister of Railways, the third powerful person is Railway Board Chairman. In the history of 118 years, for the first time, the woman became the Railway Board Chief. Her name is Jaya Varma Sinha. How you will write? They will not ask, right? Who is Jaya Varma Sinha? They will not ask. Woman empowerment. In the history of 118 years of Indian Railways, for the first time, a lady became the Chief of Railway Board. Her name is Jaya Varma Sinha. Example of empowerment, woman empowerment. Everyone will write about this missile woman, or so some examples, other examples. Became the first woman, IRTS. She had also served in Center for Railways Electrification Corps. The Maitri Express from Kolkata to Dhaka, one train from Kolkata to Dhaka, was inaugurated during her tenure in Bangladesh. She was working with railways in India in Bangladesh. At that time, this express came between the Kolkata and Dhaka was been launched. So, what are her contributions? She worked in Corps, she worked with Maitri Express. First woman Railway Board Chairman. Ticket fares, cargo fares, passenger train fares, this all expenditure, this all ticket fares, how much should be there will be finalized by Railway Board. Most influential, most powerful. After Prime Minister, after Minister of Railways, third is Railway Board Chairman. With respect to railways I am talking. Net zero, prelims point of view expected. What is net zero? Net zero, what net zero is in the news? He will give similar options. Net zero, fossil fuel should become zero by 2050, number one. Number two, carbon sequestration, means which is taking the carbon from the space, from the atmosphere, should become carbon zero by 2050, number two. Number three, completely 100% solar energy, hence net zero. Similar, no, all are climate change. Then what is exactly net zero? What is exactly net zero? A roadmap for global energy sector which is given by International Energy Agency, net zero by 2050. What is this? Is a state in which human caused greenhouse gases are balanced by human caused greenhouse gas removal over a specified time period. How much we generate, not generally, how much anthropogenic, how much we generate, that much should be removed by me only. For example, methane gas is released by buffaloes, cows. That I am not bothered in net zero. Are you getting my point? Methane is also a carbon gas, greenhouse gas, CH4. I am not bothered about the greenhouse gases which are released because of natural causes. I am bothered, my duty, net zero means my duty, I have to remove the carbon. I have to remove the carbon which is induced by me, and I have to remove by myself by anthropogenic factors. So, how anthropogenic factor is responsible? How anthropogenic factor is responsible for greenhouse gas emission? The same anthropogenic reason should be the factor to remove that. Hence, plus minus is equal to 0. Plus 10, minus 10. How much I generated, that much should be removed by net zero. If, for example, 100 tons is released by me, then I have to remove 100. Why it is in the news? Recently a report was been released in European Union. The companies which are releasing greenhouse gases, they are not focusing on removal of those, but European Union had signed an agreement in CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, that all the companies of the European Union will be working for, but they are not a single company. Means how much they release, that much should be taken by them. How? By carbon sequestration, afforestation, by technology transfer. Net zero. So, how much anthropogenic carbon emissions are released? Those many carbon emissions should be removed by anthropogenic reasons only. Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. It is in the news. Kunming, China. Montreal, which country? Canada. There is a famous Kunming Declaration. Sometimes we can, previous year's question. Beijing Declaration was there. Beijing Declaration is 2 times they asked, 2 times. Beijing Declaration is in the news, it is regarding what? Women empowerment. Similarly, Kunming Declaration is there with respect to what? Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. The Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework aims to halt and reverse biodiversity loss by 2030. First, what is the framework? By 2030, it should be reversed. First point. Remember this. This you remember, I will give you intended nationally determined climate contributions that you have to read by your own, INDCC. Number 1, we have to halt, stop and reverse biodiversity loss by 2030. It is an outcome of 2022 United Nations Biodiversity Conference. This is an outcome. Number 2. Number 3. Global Biodiversity Framework was adopted by 15th Conference of Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity on 19th December 2022. It has been promoted as a Paris Agreement for Nature. It is also called as what? Paris Agreement for Nature. 2030, the climate change should be halt and should be reversed. It is an outcome of what? CBD 2022. It is also called as what? Paris Agreement for Nature. Means what we planned in 2015. Paris Agreement which year? Paris Agreement happened which year? 2015. So, Paris Agreement is for nature. What we promised there, again we are reiterating that we have to implement it. We failed, we didn't implement it. So, again I am remembering which climate summit? Paris climate. What are the targets? Targets are important. 4 global goals. Kunming Monetary Global Goals for 2050 and 23 targets Kunming Monetary 2030 global targets. I have 4 global targets by 2050, I have 23 targets for 2030. According to Kunming Monetary Protocol or Kunming Monetary Global Biodiversity Framework, what are the 4 targets I have to reach by 2050? Number 1. What are the 4 targets I have to reach by 2050? Number 1. Ecosystem and species health, including to halt human induced species extinction. It is because of me the species should not be. So, I have to halt, I have to stop species extinction because of humans. By which year? 2050. 4 targets by 2050 which are global targets and 23 targets by 2030. The 4 targets are important. I have to halt the species extinction because of human reasons. Because of me the species should not be extinct. Number 1. Number 2, sustainable use of biodiversity, equitable sharing of benefits, implementation and finance to include closing the biodiversity finance gap of $700 billion per year. By 2050, every year $700 billion should be contributed by all the countries for the sake of climate change. 4. Number 1, to stop or to halt the extinction of species because of human. Number 1. Number 2, sustainable use of biodiversity. Number 3, equitable sharing of benefits. Number 4, finance. By 2050, every year $700 billion should be contributed for the protection of climate, biodiversity, climate. These are the 4 Kunming Monetary 4 global targets. Another target is there for 2030. How many targets are there?
23.
The CBD, this is an outcome of CBD. This is an outcome of CBD of 2022, but this 23 targets came in last September 1st. 2023, so 23 targets. By which year? 2030. 2023, 23 year, so 23 targets we fixed and we have to reach by
2030.
The 23 targets to be achieved by 2030 include 30% conservation of land and sea. 30% conservation of land and sea, number 1. 30% restoration of degraded ecosystem. Already degraded, I have to restore it. Halving the introduction of invasive species. Invasive species are coming out, I have to make it off. And $500 billion reduction in harmful subsidies. Harmful subsidies. Tell me what are harmful subsidies? For example, petrol, fertilizer, kerosene. Kerosene is a very dangerous, harmful subsidy. Kerosene we will give it for 20 rupees. Government will subsidize 50 rupees. These are called as harmful subsidies. Now, this harmful subsidies amount, how much we are giving, that should reduced by how much amount?
500.
I will tell you an example. Kerosene original rate is 70 rupees. But to our masses, to our poor people, the government, now they stopped, but in some states still they are continuing giving of kerosene. 70 rupees is kerosene. 50 rupees is given by the government. So, customer is buying for 20 rupees, but original rate is how much? 70. 50 rupees beared by who? Government. If it is 1 lakh liters, then how much subsidy? 50 lakhs. If 5 crore liters, how much is subsidy? If 5 crore liters, 5 crores, 5 crore into 50 means somewhere around 25 crore. 25 crore or how much? 50 into 5 or simple example. How much? 50 rupees, no? Only 1 crore. 1 crore we are giving means how much? 50 crore. 50 crore is simply going for what? Subsidy, and that is also not sustainable. So, that type of subsidies should be reduced. Up to how much? Means I am a father, I am giving you a amount to buy clothes. you are buying all unnecessary clothes. So now the target is telling that you reduce the subsidy, you reduce the amount which you are giving, so that that money should not be used for harmful purpose. You give subsidy for what purpose? A useful purpose, not for harmful purpose. Harmful purpose to whom? To the CBD, to the biodiversity, to the climate. So it is harming what? Climate. So you have to reduce your subsidy which are harming the climate. By how much? $30% of conservation of land and sea, 30% of restoration, halving the invasive species, as well as these are some of the few most important. By which year? 2030. 2030. Target 3 is especially referred to as the 30 by 30 target. Target 3 is especially referred to as 30-30. 30, 23, 30, 30 and halving. These are the most important three. Target 3 is especially referred to as 30 by 30, means we have to reach this. So 23 targets are by 2030. 4 global targets by Kunming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. Kunming Declaration. Kunming Declaration. Kunming is a city in China. They came up with a declaration. Like Beijing Declaration is about women empowerment, this Kunming Declaration is with respect to biodiversity. Remember this sentence. Ecological civilization, building a shared future for all life on earth. Building a shared future means everyone should share the future. Who is the everyone? All the life forms on the earth. Who are all the life forms on the earth? Human beings plus animals. Human beings plus flora and fauna. A shared future for all the lives on the earth, which is called as what civilization? Are you understanding? Beautiful word. They termed ecological civilization means what? Civilization is that behavior we have to share our future with whom? All the life forms. Means dog, cat, frog, deer, everything, hen, goat, everyone should share the future on the earth. It is called as what? What is ecological civilization which is in the news? Kunming Declaration is ecological civilization. What is ecological civilization? All the life forms should have equal share. All meaning is what? All the life forms should have equal share. Where? On the earth. Means how you are having the right, means how human being is having the right. Similarly, all the living forms should have the right to share the future of. 3 declarations came. 3 decades were been identified by this Kunming Declaration. 3 decades. One is UN Decade of Action for Sustainable Development, UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, UN Decade for Ocean Science for Sustainable. One is Action for Sustainable Development, Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, Ecosystem Restoration. One is generally Action for Sustainable Development, one is Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, other is Ecosystem. 3 decades were been named. They told from 2023 to 2032 it is called as one decade. The decade is called as UN Decade for Sustainable Development, UN Decade Action for Sustainable Development, Ocean Sciences for Sustainable Development, and middle one Ecosystem Restoration. Important. So Kunming Declaration, remember only one word. Kunming Declaration is ecological civilization. The concept of ecological civilization came from which declaration? Kunming. What is ecological civilization? All the living forms on the earth have the equal right to share the benefits of the earth. The Kunming Declaration also include a fund that is being created by China to fund biodiversity protection actions in developing nations. They have pledged to pump US dollar 233 into the, but how much? Not billion, how much it is? Into the new fund. They pledged that in Kunming Declaration. They told that every year we will be contributing how much? $233 million funds will be earmarked for biodiversity conservation from China. Exclusive, they promised. Personally, we are going to give 233 million funds for ecological restoration. So, Kunming declarations are 3. One is ecological civilization, number 2, 3 decades were being given, and fourth is $233 US billion million will be provided exclusively by to developing nations for ecological restorations. Kunming declaration, ecological civilization, what are 3 decades? Action for sustainable development, ocean sciences for sustainable development, in middle flex fuel vehicle. What is this? I will tell you. Understand, in simple words I will tell you. Flex fuel vehicle. Earlier we have bi-fuel vehicle. Bi-fuel vehicle means 2 tanks will be there for the vehicle. One tank will be having the petrol, another tank will be having the diesel. My engine is compatible with petrol, my engine is compatible with diesel. It is not the case with our traditional vehicles. In our petrol, if our car is petrol, if we use diesel, the engine will fail. But this bi-fuel vehicle will have 2 tankers, one is petrol tanker, other is diesel tanker. I will use petrol, then there will be a lock, then I will lock it, then I will use diesel, then again I will lock, again I will open petrol. My engine is compatible to both. I can use either petrol or either diesel. That is called as bi-fuel vehicle. Means I can use petrol or I can use diesel. Bi-fuel vehicle. What is flex fuel vehicle? Flex fuel means I will have 2 or more 3 tankers. In one there will be petrol, one there will be gas, another there will be diesel, another there will be ethanol. I will mix them and I will use. I will use ethanol, I will use petrol, mix and I will use. I will use diesel and I will use ethanol, I will mix them and use. So, flexible according to the choice. Mixed also we can use where? In bi-fuel, 2 tankers will be there, either petrol or any fuel it is. But in flex fuel, it is a combination of several fuels and the usage is also combination. Means if petrol will drop by drop, it will fall, no? Petrol will fall, diesel will fall, or ethanol will fall into the engine at a time. It's a mix of all the fuels. That is called as flex fuel vehicles. Why it is important? Why? Because Government of India is planning for blending petrol with ethanol. So, in one fuel tank you keep petrol, another fuel tank you put ethanol. Why to mix outside? You mix in the engine only. You mix in the IC. What is IC? Internal combustion engine. Flex fuel vehicles from bi-fuel vehicles, by the fact that 2 fuels are stored in separate tanks, an engine runs on one fuel at a time in that later. That is called as bi-fuel vehicles. Flexible fuel or flex fuel, it typically has an internal combustion engine, but unlike a regular petrol vehicle, it can run on more than one type of fuel or a mixture of. Why we want this, sir? Ethanol blending will happen. Why this is required? Ethanol blending will, if ethanol blending is happen, climate friendly, cheaper, easily available. We can also blend outside in our home and we can put in one tanker, we can put in petrol in another. So, we can use rationally so that we can less depend on fossil fuels and we can more depend on ethanol. Ethanol is what? Organic. What is ethanol, sir? It is nothing but bagasse. What is bagasse? Sugar cane. When I use for making the sugar, the output which is coming out, the waste which is coming out is called as bagasse. I can use this bagasse for making. From waste we are producing fuel. And that fuel again I am blending with petrol so that I am using it effectively as well as climate friendly. The most common versions use a blend of petrol and ethanol. Flex fuel vehicles are also known as dual fuel vehicles. They are capable of running on 100% petrol or 100% bioethanol or a combination of both. E20 fuel, the original equipment manufacturers in India have already introduced vehicles that are compatible with E20 fuel, that is petrol blend with 20% ethanol. If in my car 100 liters are there to travel 250 kilometers, then what I will do, I will make 2 petrol tanks. In one petrol tank it will be 80 liters, in another petrol tank there will be 20 liters of ethanol. which is very cheaper. So, it will both will come into the internal combustion channel, both together will be 100 liters only. So, 20 liters of petrol I am not using, number one, and 20 liters of petrol which is releasing carbon emissions is not released. Why? Because in place of 20 liters what I am using now? That particular is called as E20. Ethanol how much percentage? 20%. Blending is of 20%. We have target also. The government aims to achieve a complete 20% blending of ethanol by these vehicles. We can reach this target of blending of petrol with 20% of ethanol. Ethanol is nothing like juice only. How we will have sugarcane juice, that bagasse again we will precipitate it, we will keep it for some days, then it will be converted into the fuel. That particular fuel is called as ethanol, which is naturally available, no? So, for 80 liters of petrol, 20 liters of ethanol means 100 liters of fuel it became. Better than using 100 liters of petrol, now I am using 80 liters of liter plus 20 liters of ethanol. It is climate friendly. Dependence on fossil fuel will come down, because of which imports will be reduced, because of it current account deficit will be reduced, because of which our foreign exchange reserve will be conserved. These are all the advantages with this flex fuel. 20% of ethanol blending by 2025. Biofuel means what? Double will be there, but mix I cannot use, but flex I can use. Mix. Camouflage we know. Camouflage, what is this? Osaravelli, which changes its color according to its wish. This camouflage, duplicate, fake, what they do? Camouflage, it is created by China. They go on to the websites of other countries, mainly China, European countries, and when they are using their laptops or their devices, it will be popping up. China is a great country, communist countries are great countries, Chinas are very intelligent people. So, when it is coming up, sometimes we open, no? So, we read it. Oh, we feel interesting. In that way, they will be doing the brainwashing. That is called as spamouflage. We are watching the mobile phone. Sometimes some things will be popping up. That popping up from China, showcasing that China is great, other countries are waste, is spamouflage. If you see TikTok, this is fact. TikTok, who is the owner? Which country? China is the owner. If you see the TikTok in China, you will see the family relations, importance of education, communist government, how great the communist people are. Only those videos will be coming up. If the same TikTok, if you come to India or if you go to America, cheating or all adult content or all unrelated or which are jokes, which will have a negative impact on individual. The same TikTok, when we open in China, it is showcasing the country as great, the family relations are great, the China is, why? Because spamouflage, what they want to show to others, what you want to see is determined by the company owners. The most dangerous. You also, when you open your YouTube, when you open your Facebook, once you open 2-3 times any website, the same thing will be coming up. The same thing will be popping up. You don't want to, but still, why? Because once upon a time you watched it. Artificial intelligence, this person is interested in this, only that will come. Spamouflage. So, what is this spamouflage? Which is created by Chinese to show, here this is important, to show that China is great, but not other countries. It's a widespread online Chinese spam operation trying to praise China and criticize. The operation originated in China and its targets include Taiwan, United States, Australia, Britain, Japan and among other countries. Spamouflage. Same thing, YouTube also. What you see regularly, the same videos will come. Sometimes we won't understand, it is artificial intelligence. Machine learning, you are seeing that, so the machine will understand what you want and the machine will be showing you. Spamouflage is also is in the news, created by Chinese to showcase China as great and other countries as Malviya mission. The last week of August and the directions came in September first week. Malviya mission, what is this? Teacher training program. Malviya mission is a program by the Government of India under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Minister for Education and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship launched the Malviya. Both Minister for Education and this both launched this program called as Malviya. Madan Mohan Malviya, you know. Madan Mohan Malviya is an RSS leader. Once upon a time he is a teacher. On his name only this mission came, called as Malviya mission. Teacher training program. To whom? Under UGC. For whom? For higher educational institutions teachers. Like central universities, like IITs, IIMs, big colleges. For those teachers the training will be done by which program? Malviya mission. Teacher training is most important. Launch the Malviya mission teacher training program under UGC for higher educational. HIE means higher educational institutions. The program will capacity 15 lakh teachers across India through 111 Malviya mission centers, formerly known as Human Resource Development. It seeks to make educators future ready, improve training quality, build leadership skills and align with the goals of the National Education Policy. Malviya program, a new program of Government of India under two ministries, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, mainly for the training of teachers. Which teachers? Higher educational institutions who are coming under UGC, private or government. UGC means private also, no? All the higher educational institutions. What are called as higher educational institutions? All undergraduates and postgraduates comes under higher educational institutions, not only postgraduates. Undergraduates also called as higher educations, more than intermediate. 10+2 and above is called as HEI. Malviya program is in the news. Nabamitra. September 5th it got launched. Nabamitra. Nabamitra. Navy. Nabha. In Sanskrit, Nabha means navy. Again, not completely navy. Who are traveling on the ocean, who are traveling in the seas are Nabhas. ISRO had launched a satellite which will mainly communicate with the fishermen who are going deeper into the sea for fishing, to and fro. If any warning, tsunami is coming, cyclone is coming, so through the Nabamitra the information will go to the fisherman to protect fisherman. To protect fisherman. That particular mechanism is called as Nabamitra. Nabamitra is recently in the news. ISRO had created a satellite by which the satellite will give the information to the fishermen who are on the boats, who are going into the deep into the sea. For what? Fishing. So this satellite will give the information, cyclone is coming, come back, they will come back. Or if not, they can also communicate, they can tell that we are going deeper, any disaster is there, can you forecast? Then they will tell, you can go safe, no problem. Through what mechanism? ISRO Space Application Center had recently tested the Nabamitra device. The Nabamitra is a satellite based communication system that enables two-way communication, messaging service from and to the sea in order to ensure the safety of fishermen. Nabamitra is in the news. Magic rice. If you see the color, it is not white. Magic rice. Magic rice is cultivated in Brahmaputra Valley, mainly in Assam. Rice is actually carbohydrate. Rice is actually carbohydrate, which is fat, carbos. Proteins we want, not carbohydrates. Proteins will give energy, carbohydrates will not give energy. Usually rice is what? Carbohydrates. Magic rice is protein. For the first time in the world, in the rice content, lesser carbohydrates and more big fear for South Indians. The stomach is coming out because of rice. Why the stomach is not coming out for North Indians? They will not do, they also not do gym. By rotis. Rotis is less in carbohydrates. The Brahmaputra Valley, West Bengal, South Indian people will consume rice. We cannot eat chapati and roti. Then how? I want protein, but still I want to eat rice. Then I have to go with
magic rice.
What magic? Stomach will not come out. That is the magic. The magic is stomach will not come out. In spite of eating
Rice.
then magic only. Magic rice has recently earned geographical indication for this exquisiteness. Is a semi-glutinous winter rice cultivated in Assam around the Brahmaputra river. Magic rice got geographical indication. Brahmaputra Valley, mainly in Assam, protein rich food. Very important. Black Sea Grain Initiative. Black Sea Grain Initiative. Map pointing you go with respect to Black Sea, surrounding countries of Black Sea. But current affair is what? Black Sea Grain Initiative. What happened? Ukraine is called as wheat bowl of the world. Ukraine. Wheat is produced like anything in Ukraine because of the environmental factors, geographical factors. They are the main exporters of wheat, mainly to the European Union countries, America also. If the Ukraine will not send the wheat, the European people will strive for hunger. Why? Because they have to get from Ukraine. When this Russia invaded Ukraine, they stopped all the lines of sea lanes. So completely exports, imports came to an end. So the wheat is not coming out from the Ukraine. Why? Because no supplies. Blockade. No supplies. Then European Union, United States of America, they pleased US, Russia, please stop this blockade. We are unable to get the wheat. Our people are suffering. The prices are increasing because of blockade. Then United States of America and or Turkey, these two countries brokered a deal with Russia to allow Ukraine ships to go into the European Union so that the food grains will reach the European Union and United States of America. Then what is the fear of Russia? The Russia is fearing that they might also transfer arms and ammunition. Where Russia is fearing they might transfer on the name of food supplies. They might up and down, not only down, up and down. So they might also supply arms and ammunition. Then the USA and Turkey told that every ship you check thoroughly and then you allow. That particular initiative is called as Black Sea Grain Initiative. The initiative is Russia's naval blockade and saw the reopening of 3 Ukrainian ports. One is called as Chornomorsk, Odessa, Yuzhny. These 3 ports were being opened. For what? Movement. The UN and Turkey brokered the deal in July 2022, allowing cargo ships to travel between Ukrainian ports and undergo, UN, it is not US, United Nations, and undergo inspection to ensure they were not carrying. So that Black Sea Grain Initiative is nothing but Russia invaded Ukraine and Ukraine stopped all its supplies across the world. So world is suffering because of absence of food supplies. Now Russia had allowed because of the deal happened between the United Nations and Turkey, brokered deal between Ukraine and Russia, which is brokered by UN and Turkey, so that the ships will move from these 3 ships, these 3 ports into the Black Sea, so that it will reach European Union and United States of America. 9- line, it is in the news. 9- line, what it is, if you see here. This is called as 9- line. This is China country. Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, Myanmar, world map. The South China Sea is very much conspiracy. Why? So many islands are there. Then what, sir? In this island oil is there. So they want to claim. Who? Indonesia want to claim, which is here down. Malaysia want to claim South China Seas. Mainly 2 islands, Spratly and Parcel Islands. Spratly, Parcel Islands. Spratly, Parcel, Spratly Islands. Then what China did? China want everything. What China did? They made one, see, anywhere if their line should be like this, or line should be like this, they made a line like this. They made a line like this and then this is a line. And this line, whatever is there here is ours. And they named it as what? So, whatever inside the 9 dash line belong to China. What are present? Partly and parcel are there. Why they are there? Because they drawn a line they drawn a diagram like this. Hence, it will come under them only. So that this oil reserves which are present in partially and partly belongs to, and here it is telling that Vietnam is telling, see, it is only 100 kilometers from me. You are somewhere here at 500,000 kilometers. How it will become yours? I am very near. No, it is mine. No, I had already written a draw. A drawn has been line. A dragon has been came. One line has been drawn. Finished. This is our border. So 9 dashed line is mainly with respect to fixing the border lines in South China Sea in order to acquire the islands which are in South China Sea. To acquire the islands which are there in South China Sea. That particular line is a border line of China and other countries. So you should not come here. It is telling that this is my country. So all the countries it took very near. See, Brunei, Philippines, this side, Vietnam, just behind their coast they made a line like a wall. This is our 9 dash. So whatever is present here, it belongs to us. Whatever fishing is there, it is ours. If the ships will come, it will come. If yours are there, you have to go that side. But this is mine. 9 dash line is a border line inside the South China Sea. The same thing is there here. To assert territorial claims on mainly 2 islands, Parcel Islands and Spratly Island. Mercy petition. Remember this. Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita. Indian Penal Code. In Indian Penal Code, we have 2 codes. One is called as Criminal Procedure Code and Civil Procedure Code. Indian Penal Code, we will be following while giving judgments. So, Indian Penal Code, for criminal cases, there will be a Criminal Procedure Code. For civil cases, there will be a Civil Procedure Code. So, now we are repealing it completely and coming up with a new code. For a Criminal Procedure Code, it is called as Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita. Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita. In this, they are talking with respect to mercy petition. In this, they are talking with respect to mercy petition mainly for death sentence. What is this? Under Article 72 of the Constitution, President have the power to give mercy for the death sentence. President will be having the power to give mercy. Please don't kill him. Don't go for capital punishment. Don't go for death sentence. If I am brother of one person who got a death sentence, then I can go to the president and I can file a mercy petition under Article 72 of the Constitution. But interpretation of Article 72 according to Maruram case is the president will take the decision based upon the recommendation given by Council of Ministers. He cannot exercise independent decision. He can exercise the decision only on the advice of under Article 72 of the Constitution. And it is reiterated in the judgment called as Maruram case. So, Maruram case is telling that all the mercy petitions will be, Maruram case is telling that all the mercy petitions will be finalized by the president on the recommendations given by. But now, Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita is telling that mercy petition can also be given by the president without the advice of number 1. When the death sentence is given within 30 days, they can file a mercy petition. Earlier there would be a time. Now they told within 30 days you can file a mercy petition. So they are changing what? Mercy petition. They are changing what? Death sentence. They are not removing death sentence, but they are liberalizing mercy petition. Up to now it was rigid. Once rejected. Once mercy petition is rejected. Now I can reapproach. Multiple times I can reapproach. I can ask for mercy petition. But earlier once it is rejected, president must act on the advice of. But now, advice of council, it does not include any requirement for the president to act in line with the advice given by the Council of Ministers in. It allows a convict under the sentence of death or his legal heir or any relative to file a mercy petition under Article 72 or under Article 161 within. One more point. If you remember the difference between the governor and president. President is the having power with respect to death sentence. Only president. Governor will not have any power with respect to. Now, governor is also getting the power with respect to death sentence. Up to now, who has been having the power? Now, president is having the power as well as governor is having. He is under 161 and president under 72. National Judicial Data Grid. This is simple. You can write in judiciary answer. What is National Judicial Data Grid? Under National Judicial Data Grid, all the pronouncements, all the orders which are coming from high courts and supreme courts, which are coming from district courts, everything will be digitalized. Everything will be digitalized, so that, see how they will give judgments, you know. If I am a district judge, a case came, a unique case came, like a property is there, that property is, father have the property and the father gave the property to the son. That father have another wife, she had a daughter, and now this daughter want to claim the property. Is it not a complex case now? Socially don't know that she is a wife of that boy, that gentleman. Socially don't know. Suddenly this lady came and telling that I am also daughter of that person. So I also want property. If you want, you can take my DNA and my father's DNA, you can check. If I am proved that biological child, then you can give my property. But society is telling that no, no, no. In that complex situations, what we have to do? So what we will do, you know, we will go for judgments. We cannot make a judgment. Why? Because similar such type of case might be there earlier across India. So this National Judicial Data Grid will keep all the data in one particular place. Just by Control F, we can go to that particular judgment and we can get the information. Simplifying so that the judgments will become easy. When the judgments are easy, then the pendency of cases will, like Chat GPT. Chat GPT, what it is? All the information is present, and whatever we enter, we will be getting the information. But they will not update, no. This is National Judicial Data Grid. All the judgments of districts, all the judgments of High Court. Why it will not update? Yes, the Chat GPT, one person should sit somewhere, and whatever the information they have to upload it. Then only it will happen. Some call center will be there where every time they will be updating it. Then only whenever we check into, we will get the information. That is what the Chat GPT is. But they will fix a code. If I use the letters also, the information will come. Same like this we have for a judiciary, which is called as National Judicial Data Grid. Why? To make the judgments easier. When the judgments are delivered, the number of pendency cases will come down. Database of orders, judgments and case details of 18,735 districts and subordinate courts. Not cases, courts. 18,735 courts are there in India. Those many courts, data will be now digitalized. And high courts, it is created as an online platform under the e-courts project. The data is updated on a near real-time basis by the connected district and taluk courts. It provides data related to judicial proceedings, decisions of all computerized districts and subordinate courts. All high courts have also joined through web services providing easy access. So all the information will be with respect to this 18,345 courts. Information will be stored in the form of data grid. Any question on pendency of cases, any question on judicial reforms, any question on functioning of High Court and Supreme Court, any question on the judiciary in India, you can write this. So it is not just a current affair. Application of current affair. Central Consumer Protection Authority, it is interesting. You will also feel interesting. Central Consumer Protection Authority. There is an academy called as ICRA IAS in Pune, Avadoja. This ICRA IAS, what they did, some students did not study in their academy, but they kept in the website. They kept in the website that these are the rankers which we got. So it is misleading the consumers, public. It is misleading the consumers. So again the Central Consumer Protection Authority is in the news. UPSC, those rankers are not of ICRA IAS, but their posters are present in. Then obviously any person who is visiting the website will think that, oh, these people also studied from. Is it not misleading the consumers? So hence a case was been filed in Central Consumer Protection Authority. Then comes, there is an act called as Consumer Protection Act of 2019. Hence to protect the interests of consumers. The Central Consumer Protection Authority issued an order against ICRA IAS to discontinue the false testimonials and misleading claims from their website with immediate effect under Consumer Protection Act of 6 consumer rights have been defined in Act, including a very, very important. What are the 6 rights? Right, any good, no, anything. Right to safety. If I am bringing anything from Zomato, it should be safe. Right to safety. Who should ensure? The seller should ensure. Not me, seller should ensure till I get into my hands. Right to safety. Right to be informed. I should get all the information. How many carbohydrates are there? How many proteins are there? Right to be informed with accurate information without any misleading. Right to safety. Right to choose. Nothing should be monopolized. Only in this shop it will be available. No, there should not be any monopolization. Right to have choice or right to choose. Right to be heard. If I have any problem, some should be there, like consumer call center or some review mechanism, some mechanism should be there. Right to be heard. Right to seek redressal. If I have any problem, then immediately there should be some people who should redress my complaint. Right to redressal. Right to consumer. They should also give information that if any consumer want to give a complaint, how he should give the complaint. Right to consumer education. By this, Jago Grahak, Jago. 6 rights are there. Number 1, right to safety. Right to be informed. Right to choose. Right to heard. Right to be heard. Right to have a redressal mechanism. And finally, education. Right to consumer education. These are the 6 rights which are part of right to safety, right to be informed, right to choice, right to be heard, right to have a redressal mechanism, and these are the 6 rights which need to be guaranteed. Which of the following is not the right of Consumer Protection Act 2019? Right to deliver on time. No, it is not there. Generally it should be there. Right to deliver on time. But it is not that much important. Let it delay. These are very important. Powers and function. Enquire or investigate matters relating to violation of consumer rights or unfair trade practice suo motu, or on a complaint received or on a direction from the central government. They will be having the power to investigate any complaint with respect to consumers. They can suo motu, by a complaint, or if any central government give the duty, then they have to right to enquire or investigate. Whose duty? Recall goods or withdrawal of service that are dangerous, hazardous or unsafe. I got a food which is dangerous, hazardous, unsafe. Then I have the right to recall. You can send it back. Right to recall. Impose a penalty up to 10 lakhs with imprisonment of up to 2 years on the manufacturer or endorser of false and misleading advertising. We can complain on Sachin Tendulkar immediately. Sachin Tendulkar, really you are drinking Boost? Really you will drink Boost? Please tell me. Misleading. The penalty may go up to rupees 50 lakhs also, with imprisonment up to 5 years. Ban the endorser of a false or misleading advertisement from making of an endorsement of any products or services in the future. Ban the endorser of a false information if they are giving. False information they are giving and it is endorsed by one person. Like recently country delayed issue has been came. Country delayed issue has been came. They told that everything is transparent, but nothing is transparent. So we have the ban the endorser, the company owners. We can ban. Means CCPA can stop them from continuing any business. So these are the powers and functions of CCPA. Investigate or inquiry. Next. Recall. Next. Penalties. Next. Ban on endorsement. There is another topic which is called as laptop restriction. Have you heard about it? Recently Narendra Modi government came up with this laptop restriction. What it is? In order to promote our electronics industry, we think that we are actually import driven economy. India is from the beginning, thanks to agriculture production. If not, our agriculture was also import driven, which is called as ship to mouth policy. If it is coming from ship, then only it will reach my mouth. Ship to mouth policy. Ours is completely import, no export. Everything is buying from foreign countries. Food, oil, gold, electronic goods, everything. But thanks to agriculture production, thanks to green revolution, there is a robust growth of agriculture sector happened, and we are not depending on agriculture imports now. Number 1. Number 2, in some places we got some oil reserves. We are also shifting to solar energy, we are shifting to renewable energy. So dependence on fossil fuels or oils is reducing. Thanks. But today also we are depending on 2 factors which is unsubstituted. One is gold. Why? Because it totally depends upon what nature. Nature should give us. We cannot make it. Nature gave it to other countries like South Africa or Brazil, etc. So we are depending on gold imports. Another thing is electronics. It's a shame to India. Why? We can manufacture it. We can produce it. We can produce TVs, we can produce laptops, we can produce mobile phones, but we are depending on South Korea, Japan or China. So our money is going, we are buying means our money going, no? When we are buying means our money is going. So our money is going for foreign countries. We are losing our foreign reserves. Our current account deficit is increasing. So Narendra Modi government came up that. It's a shame that, okay, gold means no excuse. Why? Because it depends upon nature. There is a bad luck for India. We don't have natural resources like oil. We doesn't have, gold we doesn't have. We cannot do anything. We have to import only. But electronics which we can produce, and we have this much 142 crore population is there. We have this much IITs are there. This many engineers are there. Why we cannot produce electronics by our own? So what Narendra Modi came up with a laptop restriction first. First he want to come with laptop restriction. What is that? If anyone want to buy a laptop from foreign country, waiting period is 3 years. By the time degree will be completed. So rather than, if not you want to buy, no local company is there, go and buy. So for domestic production, mainly in electronic sector, there are some restrictions were been fixed. Like laptop, you tell me company names which are local companies, laptop companies. HP, Hewlett Packard, the name itself is foreign country. HP is not Hindustan Petroleum. Hewlett Packard it is. Tell me laptop, mobile phone you will tell, like Micromax. HCL. HCL is also a very big brand, but we won't buy. So in order to have robust domestic production, domestic market, central government had put restrictions on 3-year wait period to import a computer, mainly to curb Chinese imports and promote domestic production, improve policies to facilitate computer manufacturing, not required in the light of digital India. Why? Because in the digital India also we are depending on imports. Then why it is called as digital India, man? You should only produce digital, no? Startup ecosystem, vibrant IT systems, promote Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, artificial intelligence scheme. Hence, we have to produce laptop by our own. Hence, there is a laptop restriction. One of the example for local production. It is not global, now it is what? Local. So, we will produce locally, we will sell it locally and we will sell globally also. Hence, it is not global, now it is laptop. What are the topics which we discussed from last 1 week? Havana syndrome. Havana syndrome. Quickly tell me, what is Havana syndrome? First, try చేయండి. తెలుగు కొన్ని సౌండ్స్ వినబడతాయి, ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుందో తెలియదు కానీ సౌండ్స్ వినబడతాయి. అదే హవానా సిండ్రోమ్. 2 సైమల్టేనియస్ ఎలక్షన్స్. ఆర్టికల్స్ ఆర్ 83, 85, 72, 74, 72, again 172, 174, 83, 85 and 356 as well. Simultaneous positives and negatives. Socio-economic caste census, positives and negatives. Elections are there, again an article was been published. Space debris. Why? Because one of the debris fallen onto the Australian coast. Jaya Verma Sinha, example for women empowerment. If you remember, you can remember. Jaya Verma Sinha. Net zero. How much anthropogenic carbon emissions are produced, that much carbon emissions should be removed by anthropogenic factors. Kunming Montreal. This is an outcome of 2020 United Nations Biodiversity Convention or Conference. We have this 4 overarching goals. Then we have this ecosystem civilization. Ecosystem civilization. What is this? Building a shared future. Then we have UN decade for action on sustainable agriculture, ocean science for sustainable development and ecosystem restoration. We have US, China itself is contributing $233 million. Flex fuel vehicles, spam of age, China, Malviya, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Skill Development and Teacher Training Program. Targeting whom? Higher educational institutions. Nabamitra, fisherman satellite, to and fro, Nabamitra. Magic rice, Assam, Brahmaputra Valley, GC is important. GA tag, they got GA tag very recently. Black Sea Grain Initiative. Who brokered it? United Nations Organization and Turkey, mainly to release the ships from Ukraine, from 3 ports, Chornomorsk, Odessa, Uzeni. Then 9-dash line, they fixed the borders, they themselves, that is 9-dash line. Mercy petition, what is Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita, which is going to replace what? Criminal Procedure Code. And one of the major thing is mercy petition is getting changed. National Judicial Data Grid, Central Consumer Protection Authority, and laptop. Any doubts please? These are the most important current affairs of this week. Every Saturday we will have current affairs class. If on Saturday, if it is not Sunday or Monday, I will only take. But every Saturday you will have current affairs class. The most important 20 topics we will do. The most important 20 topics of 1 week. Mana material daily we will be posting lo అందులో. In that selected మనం రోజు నైట్ ఆ రోజు కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ అందులో మళ్ళీ ఫిల్టర్డ్ సైమల్టేనియస్లీ ఒకటేసారి ఎలక్షన్స్ కండక్ట్ చేయడం అంతే. కాన్స్టిట్యూషనల్ అమెండ్మెంట్, స్పెషల్ మెజారిటీ, రాజ్యాంగ సవరణ, అది స్పెషల్ మెజారిటీ కదా. 2/3 of the persons present and voting, and it should be more than 50% of the 50% of the states plus 50% of the state legislative assemblies with simple majority. They can pass. They can easily pass. But state assemblies అన్ని లేవు ఇప్పుడు. మొన్నటి వరకు ఉండే. కర్ణాటక పోయింది, వీళ్ళెవరు ఓటు వేయరు, కేసీఆర్ వేయడు, జగన్ వేయడు. దేర్ ఇస్ ఎ ఛాన్స్. దట్ ఈస్ ద రీజన్ వితిన్ 1 month దే ఆస్క్డ్ టు సబ్మిట్ ద రిపోర్ట్. ఎందుకంటే తెలంగాణతో పాటు ఇంకో 3 రాష్ట్రాలు ఎలక్షన్స్ అవుతున్నాయి అన్నమాట. అందుకే వాళ్ళకు అక్టోబర్లోపు రిపోర్ట్ ఇచ్చేస్తే దీన్ని వాయిదా వేస్తారు. వాయిదా వేసి ఏం చేస్తారు, ప్రెసిడెంట్స్ రూల్ పెడతారు. అన్ని కలిపి ఒకటేసారి పెట్టేస్తారు. ఇంకా టెన్యూర్ అయిపోయింది కదా. టెన్యూర్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత దే కెనాట్ ఎక్స్టెండ్. టెన్యూర్ అయిపోతే స్టేట్ లెజిస్లేచర్ వీ కెనాట్ ఎక్స్టెండ్. వీ కెన్ ఎక్స్టెండ్ ఓన్లీ ఫర్ సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్, దట్ టు ఎట్ ద టైమ్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ సిచ్యువేషన్. ఇఫ్ నాట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి ఏ నేషనల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ. ఇఫ్ నాట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి ఏ స్టేట్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ. స్టేట్లో అయితే, సెంట్రల్లో అయితే నేషనల్ ఎమర్జెన్సీ 1 year మనం చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా, 6 years. సమ్ టైమ్స్ బోల్స్కి ఉంటాయి కదా. ఇప్పుడు ఇస్రో అని సింబల్ ఉందనుకోండి, ఈఎస్ఏ ఉందనుకోండి, యూరోపియన్ స్పేస్ ఏజెన్సీ, అలా ఖచ్చితంగా వాళ్ళు వేసుకుంటారు కదా సింబల్. మన వెజల్స్కే మన పేరు రాసుకుంటాం. ఇంట్లో వెజల్స్ పేరు రాసుకుంటాం లేదా? ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ.